Juventus then taking all 3 points, inflicting Milan's first defeat in the league this season. Gab Marcotti and Jurgen Klinsmann with me to reflect on this game. Jurgen, overall, it's a thoroughly entertaining tie, wasn't it?
It was an excellent game, really. It was exactly the game that we all hoped for to see. And you had Juventus with the back against the wall before that game, and we had the fear, obviously, if Milan wins it, they go 4 points clear. So it was highly entertaining, and those are the games when you as a coach, you sit out there and you hope just that you have one or two difference makers on the field for you, and the difference maker today was certainly Federico Chiesa with his 2 goals. The way he played his game, I mean, he was inspired. He had Dybala next to him, which looked like a really comfortable couple out there. He won his 1-against-1 battles against Theo Hernandez, which was a key in this game. And so it went well for Juventus, and I think we all, soccer fans, are happy that the Serie A is now getting really exciting.
Juventus spent a lot of money on Chiesa in early days. Gabi was nowhere near the player they thought they'd purchased, but he was exceptional today.
No question about him. It took him a while to get going since coming over. As we know, it wasn't a very acrimonious split with Fiorentina, not least because of the rivalry between the two teams. Fiorentina fans really don't like Juve. Goes back to Roberto Baggio. When he came over, there was some question about where he's playing out wide in the midfield, responsibility. But tonight, it all came together, and you see why so many are so excited about him. His combination of power, of pace, of technique, and really aggression. Willingness to run at people, willingness to go and try something, fearlessness. This is exactly what Juve need. And if you project forward a few years, when the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo or Leo Bonucci might no longer be around, and maybe Morata and Dybala too, this guy is really the person who's supposed to lead Juve forward in that direction.
And they did all this, Craig, without Ronaldo, as you mentioned, being anywhere near his best.
Yeah, and it's never easy for anybody making a big move to a big club, but particularly not one as a guy who's still pretty young at 23. With all that expectation, you walk into Juventus and all of a sudden you see all these big stars of the Italian national team and other national teams, and some players, it takes them a little bit of time, but today he just, as they would say, took the bull by the horns. I mean, he was playing against Hernandez. He gave him a tough time every time. His finishing was crisp and sharp and composed. The 2 goals were fantastic. He could have had himself another couple, or at least one that came off the post. And he played really well. It wasn't the strongest Juventus team. I think they can thank Szczesny as well for making some good saves at important times in the game. And then there was a cross early in the second half, I think it was from a set piece, that came flashing across the 6-yard box. So little moments that went for Juventus. They won't really have a gripe now with the official over that decision because they won the game. But had it gone against them, I think when we saw Pirlo at half-time, how unhappy it was, we'd have heard more about that. But that'll be brushed under the carpet. They themselves are lucky that Bentancur wasn't sent off for a second yellow. So all in all, it's been an excellent day for them. With Inter losing, they've now given Milan their first loss of the season domestically, and they've got a game in hand. So from Pirlo's perspective, it's a very happy new year.
What was different from Juve today, Gab?
I think what was different is Pirlo tweaked the way they play. I mean, we touched upon how open those first 45 minutes were. Both teams trying to go and to go and press high, to create turnovers. Both teams with a lot of quality and creating chances in the final thirds. Now, this isn't straight out of the Pirlo playbook of the possession game and the triangles and all this stuff. This is more a case of him reading the game. We knew it was going to develop a little bit like this with Milan because, of course, no natural playmaker in there with Bennacer and Tonali out. Pirlo, I think, read that perfectly and said, okay, fine, you want to go end to end, we'll go end to end with you, and that suits us fine because we have probably more quality top to bottom. But I think it was also a big statement from Pirlo that with Cuadrado and Alexandro out, there was a strong suggestion that he might put another center back in there, Demiral or somebody, and play Danilo on the left. Instead, he said, no, look, I believe in having a proper attacking wing back here. So Alexandro out. I'm going to stick the kid Frabotta in there, who started a few games earlier this year, but has played very, very little, because I believe in him, and I'd rather have a specialist in that position than just having another big name in there. That too is Pirlo. That too is a little building block in what he's trying to do and where he's trying to take Juventus.
Jurgen, we've talked about Milan overachieving a lot this season, considering what we expected from them at the start of the season. How much of this now is going to see them regress to that mean, or how much can they point to the fact that they had so many people out for this game that they can just turn the page and look ahead to the next match?
I think they will turn the page pretty rapidly. It's no problem to have a game lost against Juventus, and obviously they had such an impressive run over the last 7 months. It's been outstanding what they performed. They're missing still players injured, and so on. So I think AC Milan is on a very good path. But I also want to mention that when we talk about Andrea Pirlo and we talk about the players coming through in the Juventus system, is he has also the courage to give a young American kid like Weston McKennie consistently chances to play minutes, and often even play from the beginning on. And today was just wonderful to see how Weston comes in. He's right away part of the game. He misses a first chance, and then he scores a beautiful goal at San Siro, which is a very special achievement for a young kid coming from the United States. So this is really to the credit also of Pirlo, what he's trying to create there. It will take some time until we see that kind of a bit more attacking-minded football that everybody expects to see from him, step by step. But I'm just glad that things went that way today, because we see now a Serie A over the next couple of months or weeks, especially being really interesting, being exciting, watching those games week in, week out.
On paper, Juventus should have won this game, shouldn't they? They got the better players.
Well, particularly with the amount of players that Milan had out. Notwithstanding the fact that Cuadrado, Alexandro and Morata were out for Juventus. But yeah, I mean, having to shift, fullbacks into midfield and some less experienced players. So it was there for them to go and win this game, which obviously they did. So, look, it's given them some momentum going into the new year. Juventus, they could have fallen 13 points. Yep. Was it 13 points behind? They've got that game in hand. It didn't have to be pretty, but listen, you don't have to be. If your blueprint is going to Juve, because Juve for a few years now have wanted this super, fancy Dan football, nice, pretty to watch. That's why they brought Sarri in, for whatever reason. They didn't like what they were seeing there. But it doesn't have to. You don't get results by trying to do that all the time. It can't be a one-trick pony. Sometimes you have to look at your personnel, look at where you're going, and think, okay, we need to be a bit tougher to beat here today. We need to go forward maybe a little bit earlier, and we need to do the ugly side of the game. This is a match where we go in, we take the 3 points. We don't bother about playing well or not, but we do the basics. We get ourselves back on track, and then we build for the remainder of the season. And it looks to me that's what Juventus have done today. But I wouldn't be totally disheartened if I was a Milan fan. Right. Because they've got a very experienced manager. They've got a lot of players to come back, some big players to come back, some playmakers and some key individuals. And as long as they don't have any disasters with that, they've got a guy at the helm in Pioli who's been around a long time and he knows what he's doing.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.